welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. We have beaten Sevilla here by 4 goals to 2. Somehow in this game, we've not only won it, we've scored 4 goals against Sevilla, and I honestly can't tell you how on earth we did that, simply because the performance on the face of it, particularly in that first half, it was woeful. It was a strange lineup from Valverde, there was a lot of things wrong with it, I feel, but somehow, and I think we all know deep within us, it's Messi. Messi here was absolutely sensational. He took the game into his own hands, as we've seen him do time after time after time at Barcelona, and boy did he make Sevilla pay with a stunning, sensational hat-trick. And I just want to talk you through here what we started the game with, and then most importantly how it changed in that second half, the change of shape, the change in personnel, but this is the way that Ernesto Valverde elected to start the game. Now, in many circumstances, people will be saying today, well done to Valverde, because in the second half he made some very good changes. The players who came on really had an impact, the likes of Dembele, Aleñá, Sergi Roberto. It was a much better display. That change of shape as well was really good, but my question would be, why not you start with that? Why didn't you do that from the very beginning? We could have saved a lot of time and potentially a lot of fitness ahead of those Clásicos. Have a look here at this first team. Ter Stegen, Alba, Umtiti returned. Longley apparently had a bad night with a virus, so he couldn't play. Piqué alongside him. Semedo there at right back. And then this midfield. Valverde very, very persistent on Busquets, Rakitic and Arturo Vidal. Vidal came off at half time because it didn't work. But we knew already that it didn't work. It's not a surprise to us that we don't create anything, that we don't control anything. That midfield there does not work as a 3. Surely now, Valverde at half-time, hauling off Vidal, correcting his mistake, surely now he's learned that lesson. It doesn't work. Please, can we see something different in future? And then again, Coutinho here in the front 3 with Dembele on the bench. That was a massive surprise to me. The two things I would definitely have changed in this team, we spoke in the preview about Aleñá in that midfield. I'm going to come on to him in a minute with the second half. And Coutinho there in the front 3, it didn't really work. Along with Alba, it was very, very quiet down that left-hand side. Not an awful lot happened again. And again, you bring on Dembele, it's a lot more flair, a lot more creativity, and ultimately, he made things happen in that second half. And at the start of the second half, we saw those changes come into action very, very quickly. Dembele here on that right-hand side, so did Sergi Roberto. And what you did there, you can change the complete dynamic of the team. It wasn't just personnel, it was a change in shape. And finally, Ernesto Valverde realises you can play 4-2-3-1. You can get all of those attackers in the same team if you really go for it. Now, the question for me was, why did we have to be 2-1 down to Sevilla, Navas scoring early on, Messi equalising, I'll come on to that goal in a minute, and then just before half-time putting Sevilla ahead? Why did it have to be until we were losing this game that Valverde says, right, we can actually go for this? This is a team that can start a game. This, as you can see in that second half, is a very, very good team with good balance, with a lot of threat. Dembele came on, not every pass did he do well, not every finish did he do well, but he made things happen. He was getting on the ball, he was positive, he was running at players, he was drawing defenders. That's what you need from your wingers, and that opened up the space. And what you do then is you allow Messi here in this central position, a bit more freedom on the edge of the box, exactly where he picks up his second goal. And when he gets that space, he does not miss. And I think as the game went on, as the game developed, particularly then in that last 10 minutes, bringing on Carlos Aleñá, like we spoke about in the build-up to the game, I think he's vital in that midfield, just to give us something who can go forward, somebody who can create from deep, who can link up with Messi. That's exactly what he did. He came on the 80th minute, and by the 93rd minute, we were 2 goals ahead in this game. And it wasn't all Aleñá, of course it wasn't. It was Messi, it was a brilliant finish from Suarez, but what I'm saying is, you bring on Aleñá in this position, and he will make things happen. And that's what we had the second half. The first half was completely and utterly flat. There was no life in there, there was no soul, there was a team there that really lacked ideas. In the second half, we saw more expansive football, we saw a bit more control, we certainly saw creativity, cutting edge in the final third. We threatened Sevilla, and what that did was, we really limited their attacks, because when you threaten a team, when you push them back, when you give them questions, they then struggle to think up answers, and they can't go and hurt you down the other end. If you pen them back, if you you give them something to really think about, they'll struggle to get out. And that's what we did. In the end, Sevilla, they put up a good fight, they scored 2 good goals, it's a tough place to go, but we smothered them. When you put that attacking quality on the field, when you're brave, when you go for it, when you play a shape that can really, really keep your attacks and sustain them, that's what we saw in the second half, and ultimately, that is how we got a very big reward at 4-2. But of course, not all tactics here, no doubt about that. What we are going to do is talk about those goals, because yes, tactically we were good, there were some good switches there in the second half, but it was Messi. It was all about Lionel Messi once again. He saved the day, he rescued Barcelona, he's done it before against Sevilla. You think back to last season, 2-0 down, he comes off the bench, completely turns it around. This season, he was playing from the start, and boy, did we know it. That first goal is sensational. I've got to credit today as well, Ivan Rakitic thought he had a really good game, he was good across midfield, he was box to box, as you know that he can, but in the final third he was a lot more productive, and he can do that. Again, when he's more brave, when he puts in a bit more risk to his play, you get bigger rewards. It was a brilliant ball into Messi, it's slightly behind him, he just arches his body, he volleys it, he's mid-air. It's very similar to the volley he scored against Malaga a few seasons ago, but this one I think is even better because he's even further out. It's into the top corner. It is an absolute stunner from Lionel Messi to get us back on level terms, and at that point then, we went 2-1 down. I was thinking, oh no, please, a goal that good, it doesn't deserve to be on the losing side, but Messi was never ever going to allow us to be on the losing side, and he wasn't happy with the draw either. He wanted to win, he dragged us to victory. The second goal was all about that space on the edge of the box that I spoke about. We were definitely causing severe problems, we were pushing the back, creating the space of Messi, who was just dropping in there in that 4-2-3-1. He gets the space on his right foot. I do recall a famous ex-footballer saying that he couldn't shoot on his right foot, but it seems that he's learned that trick because it was a stunning goal into the top right-hand corner, beating Vaclik, no chance at all. Alenia comes on, some good combination play. It's Messi again. Alenia has a shot on goal, he's positive, he's going into the area, it's deflected. Messi's on hand, he anticipates the movement, he gets onto it. Lovely little finish. Again, in that position, other players might panic. You might hit through the ball, you might hit it wide, you might put too much power on it. Messi, no chance at all. Takes it all in his stride, incredibly calm, little chip over the goalkeeper. Thank you very much. And of course, we've got to talk about Suarez. He played this game. Again, I personally would have rested him. I still would have rested him because today he still looked as though he was in pain even at some points in this game. But as it went on, he stayed resilient. He kept going. He kept trying. And I'm so happy he's got a goal here. And what a great goal it was. Messi, of course, the provider. It had to be him. Alenia involved again in the build-up. It's into the path of Suarez. The ball is bouncing. And how many of us thought that he was going to score there? That's what Suarez can do. Sometimes he'll miss the easy things. He certainly has been recently. But he does have that quality in his locker. And like I've said before, if we're going to be successful, we need to see that on more occasions. Brilliant from Suarez with the goal. His overall play, you've still got more work to do, and I think that goes for Barcelona in general really today. Messi, to be honest, bailed us out. A brilliant 3 goals. We changed it around at the half-time. Hopefully now, Valverde can learn from that. Learn what went wrong, learn what you put right, and now implement that in the games that we've got coming up. Because against Real Madrid, you're not going to have any room for error. You're not going to be able to make mistakes from the starting line. You've got to get things right there and then. And still, I'd question Malcolm. Where exactly is he? He was on the bench today, but again, no minute for him since he played against Real Madrid in El Clasico in the Copa del Rey. I think there's every chance now that he could actually make his next appearance in the reverse fixture of that game. We're going to have to wait and see. Whatever is going on with him, I've got no idea. But certainly today, a much needed 3 points. We are currently 10 points clear of Atletico Madrid going into the game tomorrow against Villarreal. And we are 12 points clear of Real Madrid ahead of El Clasico next weekend. And the good news is no players will be suspended for that game. Longley didn't play, Vidal went off, and Rakitic escaped this game without a booking. So we are fit, we are firing, we are winning. Hopefully now, the good times can develop on this, we can really build on this win. Valverde, make sure you're learning, and next week, all will be decided. And of course, guys, after a performance like today, I'm always very interested and intrigued really to see what your thoughts of the game were. How did you feel that it went? What did you think of the team display as a whole? Obviously, as individuals as well, what players stood out for you? What players need to do more, and especially looking at those Clasico games, who's done really well today to really put themselves in contention. And I did ask you guys on my community section, thank you very much for getting involved there so soon after the game. Nearly 5,000 votes so far, and the majority of you, nearly half of you, going for a performance rating of 8 to 9. So very good there. A lot of you also going with 7, a little bit more modest. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. What's important though is that we have 3 points. Now we move on to Real Madrid. And boy, we're going to be getting ready for it. Lots more uploads to come. Don't worry about that. I'll see you then. But until then, guys, enjoy your weekend. Visca el Barça!